Creatures of the Night, it's your girl Tati. We got some predictions to talk about for this World's End pay-per-view. That's on Saturday, December 30th. Now, don't be shy. Put in the comments what you predict is going to happen for this pay-per-view. So let's get into it. First, we have the 0 hour, which actually is going to start at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is just a little early for me, but we'll see. The last 0 hour that they did, the matches didn't start until 30 minutes after the 0 hour started. So maybe we'll start the matches off at 7 on the dot, something like that. And I think that's a little bit better. So we have the FTW Championship on the line. We have Hook versus Wheeler Yuta in an FTW rules match, which is going to be really interesting. In my opinion, I do believe that Hook is going to retain. There's no reason why Wheeler Yuta, who just won the Pure title, who hasn't really done much with it, should have another title on him. He needs to focus on what he has. Other than that, Hook's been walking around with his title in his backpack since birth, and he's not doing anything with it. And it's a shame that I understand this is not a AEW recognized title, but let's do something with it. This is the equivalent of like being a hardcore champion, and they're not doing anything with that. I think that's absolutely insane. Anyway, I think Hook's going to end up retaining. However, if they're going to keep this title to be defended on AEW, they need to be able to sort of make a division out of this. We would love to see hardcore matches in AEW. There's a little bit of a waste of an opportunity to have this title over there and not do much with it at all. Now, we do have another match on the 0 hour that has been confirmed. It's a 20-man Battle Royal match. Now, we don't know who the participants are as of right now. However, the person who wins this will be able to have a title shot for the TNT title, and that is anytime, anywhere, which is a really interesting thing to win along with this opportunity. So at any time you could just show up maybe at Christian House and try to get this title. So that's really interesting. I'm looking at this card. This card is absolutely fucking stacked, and I'm wondering if anybody who's already going to be on this card is going to probably participate in this 20-man Battle Royal. I'm looking at potentially who can win this, but with all these people that's on the card, I'm not necessarily sure who. The only person I'm looking at, maybe Wardlow. I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the case, because they've added a lot of people on this card. So I'm not sure who that winner would be. Once they have the participants, then I can pretty much get a feel for who might that be. Darby is definitely on the main card, so I don't see him necessarily participating in this, and I don't want Darby to have another opportunity at a TNT title, but maybe Wardlow. So far, we don't see him on there. I know he got his eyes out on MJF for the AEW World title. However, we're not sure what's going to happen with that, so we'll see. Now, for the main card, they did announce an 8-man tag match. So this is Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Mark Briscoe, and Daniel Garcia versus Brody King, Jay Lethal, Jay White, and Roosh, which is really interesting. For whatever reason, Claudio, Bryan, they're like tweeners where it's just like, hey, 1 minute we're faces, 1 minute we're heels. And it's just like, all right, well, which one are y'all tonight? And definitely on Saturday, they're definitely participating in the babyface team, while we have obviously the heels on the other side. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. These are all the participants who obviously are not moving on to the finals in the Continental Classic. So they got all these guys here participating in an 8-man tag, and I'm glad that they're making use of these guys in this type of way. I probably wouldn't have thought of it myself. However, I think this is a really cool matchup here. Wow, who should take the win? I'm gonna go with the heels on this one. I would actually love to see Brody, Jay, and Roosh take the win, but I do see the babyface taking the win in this situation. I do feel like everybody has had their success in some ways in this tournament, but as a group, I would prefer to see the heels take the win here. Now, we do have another 8-man tag match here. We do have Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Sting, and Darby versus Powerhouse Hobbs, Big Bill, Pretty Ricky Starks, and Kyle Fletcher has been removed from this match. This is something that happened earlier today. So now Takeshita is taking his place in this match. And that's something that I did complain about last night during my live stream. It's like, where the hell is Takeshita at? They took off Kyle. I don't know what it was. They didn't specify. But Takeshita's in it, and that's great. So for this match here, I also see the baby faces taking the win. Sting is in it. This is definitely part of Sting's last run tour, which is really surprising to me to see Sting in something that feels a little random. We need to get some storyline going for Revolution. That's on March 3rd. We pretty much have somewhat a little bit more than 2 months to really get something going, something really special for Sting. But either way, I see the baby faces taking the win here. I would actually love to see the heels take the win in this situation, but I could be wrong. Ricky and Big Bill, while I do like them together, I really feel like we haven't been able to see some really strong, solid stuff from them as a team. We need to see a lot more from Ricky and Big Bill as a team, and for them to kind of throw them into this 8-man tag situation, I'm not necessarily happy about that. I would love to be seeing titles on the line. Orange Cassidy ain't on this bitch. Who's the other one that's not on here? Somebody else ain't on here. The trios titles are not on here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see the trios title on the line on the pre-show if they have time. Now, we have Miro versus Andrade El Idolo. I am very disappointed about this match being on this pay-per-view. I wanted this storyline to build the fuck up. And unfortunately, they're just giving us a match on a one-sided beef that Miro's been having all on his own for the past 2 months, while Andrade has been focusing on trying to get some W's and winning the Continental Classic. So in my opinion, this storyline, which I believe would be so much better if they actually had, things being played out with this story. And unfortunately, not much have played out with this. So we're going straight into a match. The fact that Andrade and Miro has not had any type of interaction at all kind of bothers me that we have in this match. Now, this match right here can open the door for another match in the future, but I would have loved to see some solid story going into this. I'm not even really sure about who would take the win on this one. And, with having a story being told, that would have actually helped. In my opinion, I would prefer to see Andrade. We've gotten a chance to see some really amazing stuff with Andrade in the Continental Classic. And you know what? We got to keep the fire burning. And I would love to see Andrade take the win here. I don't really know why Miro should take the win at this point. And with no story, definitely can't come up with a clear, precise prediction on why Miro should win. So Andrade is my choice on who I would actually like to see take the win for that one. Now, we have Swerve Strickland versus Keith Lee. This is another one where it's like, sure, there was a story in the past between them, and a lot of time has fizzled out, and Swerve is on new heights right now. Swerve is on another fucking level compared to where he was earlier this year when he was tag champion with Keith Lee. Now they're revisiting this story, which I'm not necessarily mad about. Yeah, I'm a little bitter about Swerve not making it to the finals for the Continental Classic. However, I just didn't see this coming in terms of a story. However, now we got a match between these two. And in my opinion, Swerve just won Swerve lost his match last night with Jay and Moxley, and then went straight into, Keith Lee, I'll go ahead and have that match with you at the pay-per-view. I really wish that it wasn't just them just talking separately. We need to have some interactions, bring the story back up, and not just saying, okay, we're having a match. You know what I mean? Like, we could have had something going on with these guys, and y'all could have just saved this for Revolution. I don't know. Y'all could have just saved this for a random Dynamite. Who knows? Something about this kind of just feels a little rushed too, just like how with Miro and Andrade match. But we'll see what happens. I actually would love to see Swerve take the win. I mean, we gotta keep the ball rolling with Swerve and not drop it going into 2024. This guy's absolutely on fire. No shade, Keith Lee, you cool and all, but this is Swerve time. Now, We have the TNT title on the line in a no disqualification match. We have Christian Cage, our stepdaddy, versus Adam Copeland. I'm like really not sure. I love both of these guys to death. However, I would love to see Christian retain. With there being no DQ, we're definitely going to see Mama Wayne coming out. We're going to see Nick Wayne coming out. And obviously Killswitch we haven't seen for a few weeks. He's going to come out. He's definitely feeling some type of way, I'm sure. Probably seeing that, okay, Christian done adopted Nick Wayne and they out on vacation while I'm sitting at home doing whatever dinosaurs do, and he's not being treated like Nick Wayne. So I could see him potentially coming out and helping Adam Cole and maybe even taking his Luchasaurus name back. Did I say Adam Cole? I meant Adam Copeland. That would be interesting. In my opinion, Christian Cage retains. I actually would prefer to see that. I don't necessarily see that Adam should be taking any titles right now. But this storyline is interesting, and this is one of the things that I'm actually really looking forward to in this pay-per-view. Now we have the TBS title on the line. We have Julia Hart versus our living dead girl, Abaddon. I wanted to see something stronger in terms of a storyline. Once again, this is the recurring theme during this prediction video, is the lack of stories and imagination going into what could have gone down leading into a lot of these matches that are on this card. I see Julia retaining. We could possibly see Sky Blue getting involved. However, although I do feel like Julia is going to retain, we need to see the best that Abaddon could possibly do in the ring. We've gotten a chance to see what Abaddon can do. However, they look great, but I need more. I need to see a little bit more of an explosive side to Abaddon. And, like I said, it's a wasted opportunity that they have not really put out a really solid storyline between these two. However, Julia has to retain. I really enjoy what they've done with her. And if they can do what they've done with Julia thus far, they can do that for so many of the girls and guys on the roster in terms of building a character, building a star. Julia definitely will retain. Now we have the women's title on the line. We have Timeless Toni Storm versus Riho. She better retain. Riho does this like twice a year where she comes out of the blue from Japan or wherever she's staying, and then she'll get a title shot and then she'll just go back to where she was. And that's a little bit annoying. All she does is have like 2 or 3 matches to kind of show why she deserves to go for the women's title and then ultimately not end up getting it. I understand she was the first women's champion. However, at this point, I just want to see stories. I want to see people being built up to, going for championships. And in my opinion, Riho has not really done anything. Just putting her in 2 or 3 matches and in about 3 weeks for us to feel like she deserves a title shot is not enough for me. Toni Storm will retain. All right, so now we have the Continental Classic finals. We have Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley, which I can't even believe I'm uttering those words. Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley for the finals. I definitely thought it was going to be Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley at the end. However, Eddie Kingston, in terms of what the person wins, Eddie Kingston seems to be the logical winner for me. Eddie Kingston would retain the Ring of Honor world title. He will also retain the New Japan Open title. And then he will also win the Continental title as well. So this person will have to be defending all 3 titles, which is absolutely freaking insane, Tony Khan. I can't believe you came up with this. And, be going through promotions and basically representing AEW and holding all these titles. I really don't even see what's the point of this. But when I think of who out of those 2 can actually do that, it's Eddie Kingston. Why? Because this bitch been doing it already with the Ring of Honor title. and with the openweight title. So he's been to Japan. He's been in Ring of Honor. And I felt like he was trying, but he really did look fucking tired doing all of that. However, now he will also win another title and having to defend that. In my opinion, it's an overkill. However, Eddie is the one out of those two that I feel like can definitely do that justice in terms of, being a champion with all that shit. So, Jon Moxley, you know I love you. You're one of my faves. But Eddie Kingston is my pick on who is going to win this tournament. Now, we have the AEW World Championship on the line. Our scumbag, MJF versus Samoa Joe. Y'all saw what happened on Dynamite. It's been a couple of months with this storyline with the Masked Devil, and I felt like they really they dropped the ball on it last night. Whoever it was out of those two guys that won the Ring of Honor tag titles, congratulations. Thank you for taking them away from MJF and Adam Cole. Thank you for doing what needed to be done. I love those guys. However, they were doing zero with the tag titles. So whoever got it, I hope y'all on Ring of Honor next week. That's all I gotta say about that. Now, Samoa Joe seems what it looks like to be working with this group, or just taking advantage of whatever's going on with this group so that he can beat up MJF yesterday after his match. I understand they had a little friendship going on. It wasn't even necessarily a friendship. It was really a you scratch my back, I scratch your back type of situation. Obviously, we already knew that these two were going to go at it for the title at the pay-per-view. I don't see why anybody would be surprised that Samoa Joe would obviously backstab MJF last night. This dude wants a title. He don't give a damn at the end of the day how MJF is doing. The worse off that he is going into this pay-per-view, the better. Would I like to see Samoa Joe win this title? Hell fucking yeah. I think he's definitely worthy of being the world champion. But MJF though, I would actually still like to see him retain. And I don't mean this in a biased way. I would like to see him do his thing with Wardlow after this. I would like to see him potentially have a feud with Swerve. They teased that the last week, and a lot of people are interested in seeing these two have a feud with each other, and maybe they can have something that lasts on to Revolution, and maybe, just maybe, by Revolution we can see Swerve win the title. I don't know if that would actually happen, but at some point, if Swerve were to win the title, I would actually love to see a really nice solid feud between Swerve and MJF, and MJF dropping the title to Swerve. That would be absolutely lovely. Now, you guys know Tony Khan. Tony Khan loves to creep in another match here and there, either on the main card or on the 0 hour. So don't be surprised if they end up announcing something tomorrow or right before the pay-per-view. But the 0 hour starts at 6:30 Eastern time. So we will be in for a long ass night. I haven't necessarily decided if I'm going to be live streaming this. I do want to watch it, but I'm not really excited about it like how I've been excited about past pay-per-views, but we'll see. I'll definitely let you guys know if I will be doing a live stream for World's Ends. But guys, thanks so much for watching my prediction video. Let me know down below what you think is going to happen at World's End this Saturday, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.